So it turns out that in crypto, you do not need to have utility, you do not need to have demand, you need to have a good story and good marketing.
Sorry, Rich, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Everyone in this hotel could have locks that don't work, and you wouldn't know because you're not actually testing them.
This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
So how about this? What if you made a Ponzi, and what if you made a pump and dump, but you left out the dump?
Sorry, Rich, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Are you competing with every other hex user on the exact same rules? Do you have
here's the
edge in the system that allows you to compete?
I won't speak to me personally, but I'll speak to what you want to hear.
This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
So what's cool about our system is, in Bitcoin,
so you have unlimited supply, basically.
Yeah, but see, it's so misleading to tell people that shit because the supply increase only matters if it's being used to sell down the price, and it's not you that's getting it. In Hex, it's your ass that's getting the supply. If you're a staker, you're the one getting all the inflation. So for you, there isn't any fucking inflation because you're the guy getting it. So this is actually 0% inflation if you are an average length, average size staker. If you are an average length, average size staker, there is no inflation Hex for you.
So the difference between like Ethereum, like the Ether token, and Hex token would be that you would have this sort of built-in Ponzi scheme.
Yep.
Sorry, Rich, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Sure.
So here's what I understand so far.
Yeah.
There is an originator address.
Yes.
Is that an Ethereum address?
Yes.
And from the beginning, when the system launches,
it gets a copy of bonuses.
What is that address? Like what exactly, like which address is it?
It's just an Ethereum address that someone chooses, and whoever has the keys to it can use that money however they want.
But I don't understand, like this. Sorry, Rich, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But you have one participant in this system that could dump a lot, and that would be you, wouldn't it though? Because you're the originator. And when you pull out,
whoever has that address, it would be very surprising if they didn't stake their own coins and increase their bags.
But at one point in time they want to cash out.
Why would they need to sell Hex when they have a giant bag of Ethereum? If they're already getting all this Ethereum, so here's your option.
Wait, I think I missed that one. How are you accumulating a bunch of Ethereum?
You keep saying me, but I'm not ever going to accept that premise. It's the origin address, right?
Okay, and who is the origin address?
I actually don't know because it hasn't been selected.
What do you mean you don't know? You are the
it has to be selected. Maybe it's owned by a trust. Maybe it's owned by a company. Maybe it's owned by 10 people. Maybe it's owned by a really old priest in a third world country.
I mean, when it starts, how do you get?
I haven't decided.
This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Okay, so you can send Ethereum and you can get Hex, and you can send,
you can do both.
And you can prove that you're a Bitcoin owner.
Right.
And
that's what I was talking about, the 40%.
What's the conversion rate though for the Ethereum versus the?
So you get your base rate if you free claim Hex. And remember, when you free claim, we lock you up for 350 days minimum. You can choose a longer length if you want more bonuses. If you lock 41 days, about 10 years, you get 3x the shares. So you get a lot more shares if you stake longer.
But do you get your Ethereum back at the end of it?
No. You don't get Ethereum.
So
they're unrelated. Staking is unrelated to the Ethereum thing.
Okay, but Ethereum, what do you do with your Ethereum and the original address that receives that Ethereum? What can they do with it?
So the origin address gets a copy of bonuses, not base claims, not interest, just copy of bonuses.
But they receive the Ethereum.
Well, the flush address, which is the second address, gets the Ethereum. Right. So if someone runs the flush function, then it sends that Ethereum to the flush address. They're going to be two different addresses.
Who controls the flush address then?
If I told you that, it might be a violation of the Howey test because you might expect benefit from it, and you must not expect benefit from it.
This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You got to tell me how it works. I mean, I know when I send it.
You lose
why
your
would
ETH.
I send my ETH?
You lose your ETH.
I lose my ETH.
And you get Hex.
But who gets the ETH?
You're not supposed to know that.
You're not supposed to know that. This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's if you say it. Can somebody look at the code and figure it out? And can I say it?
There's an address, yeah. And if you do chainalysis, you can see what it does with the money. And if it stakes, you'll know it.
Okay, so there is an address.
Sure.
And that address is going to be controlled by someone, whoever launches the Hex project or whatever.
Or a group of people. Or a distributed anonymous exchange. Or a robot. Or they could lose the keys in a boat accident.
And the originator owner is the one that's making the big bucks out of the Hex system.
depends.
This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But
And
let's be fair. What you have with Hex is a specific construction that earns people interest on their coins.
Yes.
You have one address that earns more than anybody else, which is the original address.
For the first year, and then it goes away. Unless he chooses to stay.
Yeah, okay, but that still can be a fuck ton of money that goes to the original address.
Yeah, and who better to receive the money? Who did more work than that guy?
This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
When you actually do the math on how much you'll make as an Ethereum 2.0 staker, it's very likely you can lose money and not make money at all. Like that's how the math actually works out. And if you do make any money, it's very little money and it's not without great risk. The mad gains potential in Hex is vastly superior to the mad gains potential, which is basically zero, being an Ethereum
Yeah,
validator.
I'm gonna have to think more about it, but my intuition right now is that this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, Coin Bros. Hey yo, Punjabi, send us some of that Bitcoin, dog. We wanna come visit. Woo! All the way from like India to Vegas, The about to pass at the funeral arrangements. Punjabi on the beat, banks are trying to play us. Crypto in motion, belly dancing on you haters like blockchain. That's the only thing we talking. Blockchain, the only thing we talking. Blockchain, that's the only thing we talking. Even when the market dropping, we investing with no caution. Like crypto, that's digital. Bailouts, that's criminal. Half the world don't even got banks. Got you by the balls like a physical, and we hold it. Hold the value, that's golden. Crypto about to change the game with every ERC token. Talking ocean to ocean. This is peer-to-peer, no interference. While banks will track your every move like overzealous parents. Hello IRS, meet Ledger Nano S. So you want my private keys? Be my guest and take a guess. All the way from like India to Vegas, The about to pass at the funeral arrangements. Punjabi on the beat, banks are trying to play us. Crypto in motion, belly dancing on you haters like blockchain. That's the only thing we talking. Blockchain, the only thing we talking. Blockchain, that's the only thing we talking. Even when the market dropping, we investing with no caution. Like they can try to fight it, but we are united. They try to ban, even Facebook won't let you like it. Try to shut us down, trying to keep us silent, but all the fun ain't adding up and we keep multiplying. I might fly to Spain, I feel the bull run coming. When I buy that dip, don't worry about shit like when the toilet flushing. Last line, it's a shout out to Satoshi. I'll see you when I see you, pour some liquor and we toast it. Like India to Vegas, The about to pass at the funeral arrangements. Punjabi on the beat, banks are trying to play